I'm going to bring in now RDS Wealth President, their CEO, Dale Smothers. Dale, great seeing you in studio, my man.
Yes, sir. Good to be
Couldn't
here.
have made it at a better day.
Oh,
I saw this the other day, and I think it's a beautiful, representation of the AI trade. The driving factors of data centers, compute, memory, storage, networking, and cooling.
Sure.
Let's start with compute. Let's start with these results. The NeoCloud names killed it.
NeoCloud is killing it right now. CoreWeave in particular, we have been a buyer at CoreWeave's lows, continuing to add to a name that we think long-term has a lot of upside, and you see an incredible revenue coming in. This quarterly revenue was off the charts. It doubled last quarter's revenue, and we expect a lot more in return here in the next couple of weeks even. I think you're going to see higher.
How about this thing with these A100s, man? It's like, and and I guess it gets to the point like, is compute an asset? And will this thing that was announced earlier in the week with NVIDIA and these big banks, is that going to work, the $500 billion?
I totally think that it's going to work. NVIDIA is certainly not going to be replaced by these companies like CoreWeave and even Nibius, which you talked about. I think you look at NVIDIA as maybe the racetrack that these AI names race on, and you've got these NeoClouds that are acting as the race horse trainers, making these names run even faster.
I mean, just look at the last 5 quarters, folks. This is the backlog from $26 billion to $100 billion. This is just outrageous. And by the way, it's so good. CoreWeave, Nebius, SpaceX, when they reported, sort of saying, hey, we're NeoCloud too, and it kind of puts some pressure on these names. Should they be afraid? You own these stocks. Are you concerned?
Own these stocks. I think there's enough room for all of these names to really exist and coexist, at least in the next 12 to 24 months. This SpaceX is not necessarily a threat to a name like CoreWeave or Nibius, in our opinion. $105 billion worth of backlog with with CoreWeave's most recent earnings report. That backlog, that demand continues.
All right, let's talk about another name that you like. They reported the Lumentum. Just again, phenomenal numbers for Lumentum. And this is what I thought was a key during the call. The CEO saying, I'd like to address some recent noise about co-packaged CPO. First, our lead in co-packaged customer production plans remain very much on track. So our lead, we know that if you look at where all these things are going, you can see out to 2030, 2031 with these optical names.
You're exactly right. There's a lot of money to be made here. And I say that AI is not a single trade by any means.
Right.
It's an ecosystem. There is so much money to be made in the AI ecosystem right now. These names like Lumentum are exactly where you need to be looking for the next leg higher in AI. It is certainly going to be the connectivity through these names like Lumentum.
The memory trade was the hottest bottleneck initially. This is a hot bottleneck, optics.
Hot bottleneck.
Oh, so memory, where are you with memory?
Yeah, I think the memory shortage is here, and it's very clear to see that's going to continue.
DRAM pricing, and this is not even a high bandwidth memory. This is just plain vanilla DRAM stuff.
Sure.
And those prices still keep going.
Yeah, we like, in this area, we like Micron and we like SanDisk. These are our two leaders. We like to lean into that leadership, but memory is a supply and demand story right now, and the supply certainly is not at the demand. You see Apple even saying they're having to go to China to be able to fulfill their supply. Yeah. I think that America has to lean into this memory trade specifically because we want to win this Chinese trade.
I agree with you 1,000%. I think the pullback in these names were a gift for investors. Let's talk about the overall market, right? Because you've been bullish since I've known you, which is great. This is just the last few years, right? BCA put this out. By the way, BCA is generally bearish, and they admit it's been tough being bearish because you get dips, but we recover out of them very, very quickly. And I think you've got a pretty high target. You expect this market to go much higher.
Of course, we've been saying 8,000 since the beginning of the year. Even in this small dip, we said 8,000. And we believe this because of earnings. Earnings are going to continue to drive this market higher. We've seen a broadening out over the last couple of months. Up until just a couple weeks ago, we saw a rotation from tech into the broader market. RSP leads the SPY index right now. That is huge. It's healthy for a continued run up.
So equal weight right now, and that means that it's just more than just tech. Even though tech is the engine, it's more than just
I think it takes us to the next leg higher, and then we see that gap fill in with the broader market, Charles. And again, this is a healthy run to 8,000, but I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell all of our viewers, 8,000 certainly doesn't come in a straight line. I think it's important to understand that we may revisit the low 7,000s. Right. Stay the course and know what you own.
Before I let you go, Berkshire Hathaway is a name that you're talking at. It seems like it's new. At least I haven't heard you mention it before. Yeah. It's starting to come on pretty nicely. They've spent some money, not a lot, but they did put some money to work. Greg Abel, he's in the spotlight. you're betting on them.
Yeah, well, I think they're a net buyer now, finally. And if anything,
Right.
I think this just resets the thesis that, Berkshire is holding on to all this cash, trillions of dollars on the sidelines. We all know that. But when you've got a name like Berkshire that's starting to maybe get a little bit more bullish in the sentiment of the overall market, that is a positive sign for the market.
Is it positive for the market? We know that.
Certainly.
But is it also a positive? Would you be a buyer of their stock?
I think you're a buyer long-term for Berkshire. I don't think you expect it to do like the NeoCloud names have done in any time soon. But this continues to go long, high and to the right as we go long-term. It pays to be bullish on a name like.
Now, before I let you go, one thing I love about you is that you put your money where your mouth is. Folks, this is the disclosure. It's right here for this man.
Yeah.
Nebius, CoreWeave, Micron, SanDisk, Apple, NVIDIA. The firm owns it. The clients own it. I own it. In many cases, the family owns it. So you put your money where the mouth is.
Money where your mouth is. A lot of people may say this is talking the book, but the reality is it's a book for a reason.
Yeah.
We believe every dollar in a portfolio needs a job, and the money that needs to be hunting should be hunting in names just
Great
like
stuff,
this.
Dale. You've been killing it, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.
All right.